What's up, guys? It's your boy the Fice, back at it with another video. But before we get this started in this discussion, I want to say, if it's your first time here, guys, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think. So let's talk about this topic. Is Sekiro harder than Dark Souls? Now, before we actually do get this started, I do want to voice right now that I definitely do love the Sekiro and I do love the Dark Souls series, but there are a lot of differences that we do have to cover. The first difference I definitely do want to cover is the EXP grind. Sekiro, and this is my honest opinion, guys, you guys can let me know as well. I don't feel that Sekiro is that much of a grind game when it comes to Dark Souls. Now, for the casual gamer that's playing Dark Souls, you do have to grind heavy in order to get your vitality up, your defense, your attack, just so you can defeat a lot of those bosses, because not everyone can just do no-hit strategies in regards to fighting Dark Soul monsters. It's a very difficult game. So the first thing I definitely do want to cover is that when it comes to Sekiro doesn't have that much of a grind. You do grind to get some moves, but that's pretty much it when it comes to the grinding. The other things are really doing the mini boss battles to get the prayer beads, to get your health up, or get any other benefits. But it's not insane where you're grinding for 3,000 hours just to get one stat up, and then you can lose your souls and then you have to get them. Of course, you can lose the EXP that you grind for getting these special moves, but I feel like there's not as much of takeaway from it if you do lose that. And when you do level up in Sekiro in regards to that EXP bar that you can use for the items, you don't lose them once you hit that threshold. So that is a really good point when it comes to leveling up and stuff. And I do think that is an actual bonus in Sekiro versus Dark Souls. That's something that I really did love. Once you reach that one bar, you can go to the next bar, and it's kind of like checkpoints. So that's something that I definitely did enjoy when it came to it. The next thing I would definitely want to talk about is the movement or mobility capability that Sekiro has versus Dark Souls. Now, a lot of people are going to hate me on this, but please understand my perspective, guys. Now, with Dark Souls, we already know the typical routine of roll, 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 roll. There's memes about it. There's everything. Now, a lot of Dark Souls players have learned to appreciate and respect the rules of this, but if you compare it to a game like Sekiro, obviously Sekiro is way superior when it comes to the movement capability, because you do feel like an actual shinobi versus feeling like a goddamn tumbleweed in Dark Souls. Not saying I don't hate Dark Souls, but that is one perspective where if you wanted them to, improve on, it would definitely be that. Specifically because if you wanted to compare difficulty, one of the core points why, Dark Souls is difficult is because of that aspect of mobility. But a lot of people have learned to appreciate and respect it, but Sekiro still makes this game difficult even though it has mobility. We're still not saying that Sekiro is more difficult than Dark Souls. We're just saying that it does have the upper hand on it when it comes to simplicity, because you feel like a shinobi and it feels really good when you're running and you're not being penalized for it, or when you're doing the side dodging or jumping really far back. Mobility is very superior in Sekiro, and I just did want to voice that as one of the key points that Sekiro also has going. The next part I definitely do want to mention in Sekiro that it also has that is really nice. It's not, it can be considered cheap in a sense, but it's the fact that you have a second life in this game versus Dark Souls where you don't have a second life. Once you die, it's kind of a wrap for you. But in this game, if you do die or your health bar drops all the way down, you definitely have the opportunity to resurrect yourself. But if you do lose at that moment, then you're not able to accrue or get all the stuff that you've lost. You take a penalty hit on the experience. But that's something that Sekiro does have that's interesting, and that's why it's called Shadows Die Twice, because you have that capability of resurrecting yourself. You can resurrect yourself actually multiple times if you build a certain item in the game. I forget the exact terminology because it's escaping my memory, but you can resurrect yourself like 2 times in a row if you build it up with the dragon stuff or whatever. But yeah, that's one point I definitely want to mention. You have resurrection capabilities in this game. The other aspect that I want to mention that's a difference between Sekiro and Dark Souls is that Sekiro has a posture system. Now, the posture system simply works like this. When you guard, your posture goes up. It's the same thing with the enemies, and you can actually see their posture build up. when your posture gets filled up to the point where you take one more block hit and they break your guard, now you're vulnerable to taking a hit. In Dark Souls, there's the stamina system where you essentially just can't do a certain amount of attacks over a certain exceeding amount of time. And when you do that, you don't have stamina to block, your guard can get broken, you do attacks, they go much slower, because now you have to wait for your stamina to build back up to do another swing, so on and so forth. You can't run. Those are slight differences between Sekiro and Dark Souls that you take into account when you're talking about the difficulty. Now, when you're saying which one is more difficult, like, which one would you prefer, Fice, if you were playing with it? Do you like the posture system because it makes it easier? Yes. I will definitely say the posture system is so much more easier in Sekiro versus using the stamina system that Dark Souls has. Now, that is one thing that contributes to Dark Souls that makes it very difficult. Now, the next thing I do want to talk about, I think this is going to be my last key point because I could go on and on and on when it comes to comparing these two games, is, I know this would be a question that is very interesting that everyone would want to know, is what are the boss fights like in Sekiro compared to Dark Souls? Now, this is a very intricate question and it can be very in-depth. Now, are they difficult in Sekiro? They are definitely difficult bosses to face, but obviously you have a different priority when it comes to fighting them, when it comes to either trying to get stealth kills when possible, kind of like in the Corrupted Monk, or you're just trying to drain their posture, or so you can get one really strong kill, kind of like I'm doing here right now, or you just drain their health completely because their posture is just too ridiculous that you can't drain it completely. There's a lot of complexity when it comes to Sekiro, when it comes to approaching on how you fight a specific boss. But they are difficult. Dark Souls bosses are insanely difficult as well. But when it comes to comparing to difficulty, I wouldn't say that either or has the upper hand. But what I would say is that Sekiro is different, and I think it's a little more fun because of the different ways you can approach these boss fights. That's the one thing I do like that Sekiro has in boss fights that Dark Souls doesn't. There's variety on approaches. That makes it very amazing because of the posture system, the health, or trying to get a stealth kill if you're possible, or even if you're able to do that. Sometimes they don't allow you the option to do a stealth kill, but like say you're doing the Corrupted Monk fight, the true Corrupted Monk fight, you can get a stealth kill up to like twice to do that. Some consider that a cheese, but sometimes it's also considered like, hey, you're able to do this because the game presented you with this situation and you just cease to attack it. So that is one thing that I definitely wanted to say. So yo guys, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. It means a lot. I love all the support that you guys give, especially when I do these type of things. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if it's your first time here. Let me know what you guys think. If there's other things that you did want me to cover in this video when I was doing this comparison, definitely let me know. There are so many differences between this game, but to leave the final conclusion, which game do you think is more difficult? I would probably say Dark Souls is more difficult than Sekiro, but they're both good games at the end of the day. I definitely really loved and enjoyed playing Sekiro, even though there was a lot of frustrating moments with it. I would say when it comes to the enjoyment factor, Sekiro is the one-up above that. When it comes to the challenge, Dark Souls has the one-up above that. But if you get the kill in Dark Souls, it feels so gratifying. And it feels so gratifying when you're doing it in Sekiro as well. But I would say Dark Souls is the champion when it comes to making people rage. Alright guys, until next time, I'll catch you guys later, and peace. See you guys. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if this is your first time here and you're watching from YouTube, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you ever come to Twitch, definitely be sure to hit that follow button. Come join us on Discord. The link is below in the YouTube description. Also, last but not least, I want to say major shout outs to the sponsors. If you guys also wanted to financially support the stream, definitely be sure to check out that YouTube description below. There is a Patreon link. And if you can't support financially, don't worry guys, there's other ways you can actually show support. That's getting the word out, sharing the content, letting friends and loved ones know about this this channel. Tell them to come and hang out. Come join us on Discord. You will not regret it. It's the best community / family ever. It says it right there on the freaking board. Yo, thank you guys so much for for hanging out. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next, what you think about the video, and so on. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.